Okay, yeah, so I am recording this video as I'm walking to the train station, so apologies if there is any loud sounds. Hopefully this audio will actually be usable when I get round to it. Currently I'm wheeling my case. I'm travelling to an undisclosed location. So yeah, if there's any like loud wheel sounds of my case or like car sounds around, just know that's the reason for it. I feel like I speak better when I am walking, when I'm doing something. I kind of think more precisely, I guess. I don't know. That's how I feel anyway. I think at the best of times I'm deficient of a brain cell or two, but you know, we keep moving. So yeah, it's very early in the morning, currently 5:20 a.m. and something I was thinking about as I was coming down the stairs, I was like, this would be something great to speak about, because I don't know how many people struggle with this issue. I certainly struggle with it a lot. So essentially my issue is that I feel like I'd overtrain a lot in situations like this, or just do too much when it's like not wise to do anything at all, right? So this morning I was thinking like, oh yeah, how am I going to get my training in for the day? What am I going to do to make it fit in? And realistically, like, I'm up, it's 5:24 in the morning, walking to the train station from Birmingham, and if I wanted to do training, I'd have to probably get up at about 4 a.m, maybe earlier, even like 3:40, and like I wouldn't have a problem doing that, right? I got to sleep at maybe like midnight. Like the old me, if I was like healthy, I'd probably try and make it work, right? But I think just like where I'm at currently with everything, it's just not wise sometimes to push training on like a given day. It's better to be, and this is something I did speak about recently in a video, it's better to be auto-regulatory with training, especially when it comes to days like this. I think oftentimes we kind of get caught up in the idea of like, oh, you know, like outworking this person, outworking that person, we've got to like, you know, be doing this, that and the next thing. When in reality, a lot of the times, especially if you've got somewhat good genetics, is that you can get away with having these like little breaks, taking this day or that day off. Because like today I would have had like a rehab day, right? So good thing about rehab training is it is technically only like 5 days a week, so I can just take this day off and sort of start tomorrow as like my Thursday, just switch the days around, and it's not too much of an issue really when I do it that way. So that's sort of the current thoughts with training and everything that sort of comes along with that. But yeah, so currently where I'm at in training as well, I'm at the best spot that I've been in since, I'd say since like May, and I would honestly say I'm in like a better spot than I was in May. So yeah, this is the best health-wise I've been in like a long time. I think I was speaking to my coach the other day, we were just talking about like, oh yeah, training is like going really well, injuries are all clearing up, like the rehab work I'm doing for the sports hernias working, was able to do some runs for the first time in a little bit, and it's just those like small breakthroughs that mean a lot. It's, you know, going in the right direction at the end of the day, and that's the main thing, is to always be pushing into that right direction. It was a shame that I didn't get to do any like competitions this year, but that's just part of the process. Sometimes you're not always going to be in a position where you're healthy enough to do something like that, and you do have to make the decision at the end of the day. Obviously some people might have goals in a specific season, like making a championship meet or something, and you'll maybe have to sacrifice a little bit of health especially if you're in a good place with training, like you've had months and months of like good training, which is where I was at in 2022. Had a great sort of off-season block transitioning into indoors, and just made like wrong decisions with being healthy. Like that year wasn't even really a year that necessarily mattered, but in the moment I feel like things matter more just like instantaneously in that moment, if you know what I mean. So that's sort of my thoughts on I guess like everything over the last few months. Yeah, as I was saying though, injuries are all healing up. So in this video specifically, something that I found that was really good was I switched up the hamstring isometric that I was doing. So before, I was just sort of like sitting down and like pushing my heel into the ground, so it was a very easy isometric to do, like you could do it anywhere. But I found to a point that just plateaued and it didn't really get any better. And then it wasn't until I started to try this different isometric where I had my foot up and then one foot was on the ground, and it was essentially sort of like a hip thrust. Like you extend the hips, you have that one leg contacting the ground, and then obviously you switch after 45 seconds. So that was the isometric that I changed it to, and it did seem to really work when I first introduced it. I think just the novelty of it, and I think as well it just sort of challenged the hamstring in a position and in a way that was just good for the hamstring tendon. So that seemed to sort of clear the issues up pretty much instantaneously, which was nice. So yeah, that's sort of where I am at with training at the moment. And I feel like as the weeks go by, I'm getting like healthier and healthier, especially because I'm starting to bank these days where the pain is just consistently going down. And yeah, as I was saying, I was like speaking with my coach, and he was saying that it's just best to just chill. Like I was already trying to think about like, okay, what am I going to be doing after this training phase, when in reality I need to just focus on what I'm currently doing now, focus on the present. And I think that's going to give me the edge when it comes to getting prepped for next season, because I think next season for me is like very big. I feel like there's opportunities if I sort of execute everything well and leave no stone unturned. Certainly I do think big things can happen, just have to wait and see. Obviously there's no guarantees with training. Of course you can do everything right and still not achieve what you want to achieve, but that's just the way things go sometimes, unfortunately, and that's life. So but hoping, if all goes well, I can achieve some things that I've wanted to achieve for the past few years. But we'll see where we lie after getting some good, consistent, healthy training in. As I say, the number one thing, in my opinion, with training is just banking confidence, right? Banking good, healthy, successive training month after month after month. I don't think there's anything better for athleticism, for being more athletic, in my opinion anyway. I do think that confidence is one of the biggest keys to an athlete's success, both like on the field and off the field. And I genuinely feel as well, you get more confident just like getting better at a sport, if that makes sense. It's like before I started sprinting, I wasn't someone that was very confident, right? Like even when I started coaching with John before like dunking, I wasn't like super confident. I think at that point, 2020, 2021 I started to get more confident, was growing like my TikTok following, was doing, obviously training something that's very unique, and you get to a point where you're very good at something. And I think what they say, or what I've heard at least, is like mastering a skill is like one of the number one things for gaining confidence. And I do think there's definitely merit to that. Like I walk around knowing that like, okay, there's not many people that are like me, right? It's not many people that are running a sub 11 100, not many people that are able to dunk at like a very short height, right? Like 5'6", 5'5" when I got my first dunk as well. So yeah, it's nice to sort of know those things. Like, power clean levels are also very high, like relative to your average gym goer. I go into a gym and like 99% of the time there's like no one else doing what I'm doing, and it's not in like a cocky way. Like I don't think I'm better than people because I can do these things. That's not really what I'm trying to get across. I'm just saying that it does wonders for like the mental, like it does wonders for mental health and just boosting people's self-esteem, confidence, And I think that's important at the end of the day. It's not just about sports, it's about on a journey of self-improvement and getting better at sort of what you set out to do. So yeah, that's sort of really all I've got, honestly. Don't know what else to talk about for the next 3 minutes. I'm literally going to be at the train station soon. Maybe try and think of something. But yeah, knees feeling good. Obviously hamstring, I mentioned about that, changing the isometric really did wonders, and I think sometimes that's all it takes, is just changing like one small thing can sometimes be the sort of it factor in a way. So that seemed to be the case for the hamstring. Achilles has been good now for like a good month and a half. So yeah, making strides forward. It's just about now not getting complacent, not trying to reintroduce things too early, just follow the plan that I have set out. So Friday, when I arrive in the undisclosed location, we'll be doing my training. So I'll have, I want to say it'll be some 20s. So I did 10 times 20 last week, which you will see, I think, either in 2 weeks or potentially it'll be in 3 weeks time. I'll upload that training and I'll finally be like back up, or like 4 weeks time maybe. But that's where the training is currently at. And then yeah, I guess I'll talk about the knee a little bit. It was sort of in this period where it just didn't seem to be getting any better for the longest time, and now it's finally in a place where, okay, the pain's consistently going down. Like I did some box jumps on Monday, and then I did sprints obviously as well. I was kind of worried that was going to flare the knee up. It did feel a little bit tender, honestly, at night when I was going to bed on the Monday. This was like maybe like 1 a.m. I was like extending, like locking my knee out, and I could feel maybe a 2 out of 10 pain. And I think that's something that I've really gotten a bit obsessed with, and that I tend to get obsessed with, is just like tracking the pain score and being like hyper vigilant of like any like tiny little pain. And I think sometimes that can hold you back. And I feel like maybe that's been a contributing factor as to why it's taken so long to get back. But that's just sort of me as a person. That's like my personality essentially. So there's not really much I can do to change that. But yeah, so knee, as I say, has been going down. I then obviously did the Tuesday workout. Tuesday workout was great because it was like I didn't feel any pain. I did some isometric. So I did the leg extension isometric. I usually just do like a wall sit isometric, and the leg extension isometric seemed to be a better fit for me. It seemed to just work better. I do think it is, in my opinion, one of the better knee isometrics you can do, but I'll typically just do like a single leg wall sit for my knee isometric. So yeah, that's good. And that's really it for the video, so I hope you enjoyed, and I'm pretty much at the station now, so I shall see you in the next video. Hopefully this audio is usable, because my case might be too loud. But yeah.